Man, I'm telling you, this right here is exactly what you need to cool off. I mean, it feels so nice standing right here in the middle of it. All right, good morning everyone. It's Dalton from Ulo here, and today we are up before the sun, driving out to Shenandoah National Park, trying to catch the sunrise over one of the overlooks. We're gonna be chasing a couple waterfalls today, and hopefully, if luck is on our side, taking a look at some wildlife. So, without further ado, let's get ready to explore what life has to offer. All right, so here we are. We are doing the Dark Hollow Falls Trail and the Rose River Falls Trail. So it's a 5.5 mile loop, and it is a very pretty, again, all these wildflowers, which I forgot to look up what they are. But it's a very pretty start to the trail. Now, I was able to see the sunrise, which was great. Hopefully the video shows up pretty good on your part too. But I did get there like a smidge late. I overslept. So I wanted to wake up 3:30 so I can get there in time and, you know, set up my tripod to get some smoother shots. But I got there like 3 minutes before sunrise. So I kind of had to very quickly set everything up and get some pictures. And I tried to do some panoramic shots. So hopefully that worked out pretty well. Look, a mushroom. That's pretty cool. But I've never hiked this trail before, and I'm pretty excited for it. We got these cool little trees here. All right, let's get to it. All right, so this is kind of embarrassing. I went the wrong way. So I walked like 1/10 of a mile in, and then checked my map, and I was like, oh, wrong way. I'm like, oh, cool. So, yeah, I think that's the Big Meadows Trail or something like that. Maybe I'll hike that next week because that looks really pretty. Not the one I'm intending to do, but it does look like it'd be a pretty trail. So yeah, that's on me. I just saw these gopher mouse looking things. I'll have to look up to see what it was, but I don't know. If it was a mouse, it was a mouse I've never seen before. It is pretty early, it's 7 a.m. So it did take like maybe 45 more minutes of driving on Skyline from where I stopped to take pictures of sunrise before I got to the trail. So wildlife should still be a little bit more active. I saw tons of white-tailed deer on the way to the trail, and a couple blue jays, bunch of other bird species that I can't identify yet, and I can hear them all around. So if I'm blessed, maybe I can safely see a black bear. I think that'd be pretty cool. They're one of my favorite animals around here, just because they're so I don't know, puppy-like. I know they're not actual friendly, like of course bear safety is a thing, but I don't know, I think they're pretty cool. Grizzlies on the other hand, no. Do I think they're cool? Yeah, but would I ever willingly go on a solo hike when I know they're going to be more active? Absolutely not. I saw another one of those weird, they look more like mini chipmunks, or maybe chipmunks are smaller than squirrels, and I'm just not aware of it. But if you saw my last video, you already heard how I love walking near water sources because it cools you off a little bit. It's like this entire pathway is just muddy rock, which is lovely. Ooh. Look at these guys, they got like a pinkish hue to them. I'm telling you, all this this downhill slope of just rocks has caused a cramp in my foot, and we have just started the trail. Okay, I added a little extra distance because I went the wrong way, but like, still. Oh, look at this. Look at the little bird. He's so close. My camera would literally focus on every plant around that bird except for the bird itself. So I need to change my auto direct, or I need to change my autofocus settings, and probably massage the knot that has formed in the sole of my foot. I just spotted another one of those rodent things, and this one was so cute. It squeaked at me and then started posing. So it just kind of sat there and hit a bunch of poses for me. So I got some cool pictures, I think, because I had to switch to manual focus because it's so small that even at 200 millimeters, I couldn't like get my auto focus to kind of pick up on them. But we'll see if I got some sharp images of it, and then I can figure out what it is, because it looks like a chipmunk. But I don't know what species that would be, like what specific one. Oh. Ooh. Now the first waterfall that we're aiming for, the Dark Hollows waterfall, that one is very close by. It's like a very short hike off of like from the trailhead parking lot. So we'll hit that one pretty quick, and then it's gonna be a little bit before we get to the Rose River Trail, and then loop it all the way back. Look, there's another one. There's tons of them. I don't know what they are, and it's driving me nuts. Hey, you know what? That might be what they're looking for, actually. All right, we're coming up on a viewpoint here. We got this little rail leading 1,000 feet. All right, so we got 1,000 feet till we reach the Lower Falls viewpoint. But oh, we got a view right here. The view's what you make it. I don't think that's a saying, but it could be. Right? Something along the lines of, you know, it's not about the destination, it's about the journey. The view is what you make it. Dude, if I were playing Minecraft right now, I could build like a little hut there. That's a first night starter pack right there. Oh wow. Man, I'm telling you, this right here is exactly what you need to cool off. I mean, it feels so nice standing right here in the middle of it. I'm probably gonna have to try doing panorama. Man, I'm telling you, this right here is exactly what you need to cool off. I mean, it feels so nice standing right here in the middle of it for something like this, but I'm gonna try to do a panoramic. I'm definitely gonna try. I'm gonna put it in manual focus and see if I can't work some magic here. Try it again, and then I'm gonna move down a little bit and see if I can get a better angle. Well, maybe I should try going up this way. Nah, we'll do portrait. We'll see. Again, you know, I don't have a lot of experience with the panoramic mode. So we'll see if I can get that to look nice, but I'm gonna move down a little bit and think, man, this is just one of 2 waterfalls that we're checking out today. One of 2. Wow. I don't even know if y'all can see me from over here. Man, I tell you what, this is some cool stuff. I'm gonna use my phone, because if I mess up the panoramic, I mean, that's one thing. I don't wanna miss the shot though, because I don't wanna, you know, use my phone. The only downside is, hang on. The only downside with using my phone, which I don't even think you guys can see me anymore, so, is I can't control my shutter speed. But that's cool. Some cool stuff. All right, I'm coming back. I'm coming back for you. Oh, I'm back. I'm back. So, I just startled a bird. I didn't mean to, but this is cool. This little path going. I'm gonna try to record and not fall and bust my ass. Ooh. Oh, look at that. Goes right through that lower part of the falls. All right, so that was the Dark Hollow Falls section. Again, really short. I think, realistically speaking, if I didn't have that detour in the beginning, you could probably get it done in, I don't know, I'm going at a slow pace because I'm taking photos, so maybe 45 minutes, maybe an hour, just down and back. And now we should be on the Rose River Trail. Look at the little flowers. I get distracted easily. But there's 2 ways I could have gone. All right, there was a bridge back there that I could have crossed. That's gonna take me along a creek to the falls, and then I come back this way. Or I start this way, which is I think gonna take me to the parking lot and then to the waterfall, and I can follow the creek back. I'm choosing the latter because sun's coming out, so it's gonna start heating up pretty soon. And you know, usually by bodies of water, it's a bit cooler. So I'm gonna save the cooler section on the return. That way, you know, when I'm a little bit more tired, I have that more moderate level of temperature. All right, I just committed a cardinal sin. So my early exposure to the outdoors was through Boy Scouts. And one of the things in Scouts that they kind of harp on you, like they ingrain in you, is to never go hiking solo, which makes sense, right? Because I mean, look, I was, let's just say horizontally challenged when I was younger. So I feel like I'd be the perfect snack for a bear if I was by myself. But bears, especially in the Shenandoah, black bears specifically, are a little bit more shy. So if you're in a group, or if there's 2 of you and you're making noise, chances are they don't want anything to do with you. So also if you get lost, which again, you know, Boy Scouts, I was a kid, if you get lost, it's easier to find 2 people, I guess, than just 1. Maybe, I don't know. So it's always been kind of weird as I started doing these solo hikes, because it's been like conditioned into me never to go hiking alone. Well, the second caveat to that is that if you go hiking alone, make sure to tell someone where you're going. And usually I do, but I kind of forgot to text my wife which trail I'm on. So I have some signal here, so hopefully that text gets through. So far, this trail has been lovely. Now, going down on Dark Hollow Falls, that was a little steep, but this is slight incline. But more important than the elevation is the terrain. So very smooth terrain, which is just, look, I don't mind elevation. I mind elevation and rocks. But, you know, you're out in the wilderness exploring nature and what nature has to offer. You should expect some rocks. But good news, my wife got my text. She now knows where I am and when I should be back. So the cardinal sin that I committed earlier has been revoked. All right, I've reached the section where I'm like right by Skyline Drive and the overflow parking for the trail I'm on. But look at that. We got the remnants of someone's hiking trip. But I'm gonna take a break here, grab some water, maybe a snack, maybe pose up a little bit, flick up. And disrobe a little bit because I'm getting a little warm. It was supposed to be, well, it was 49 degrees this morning. You can't see me anymore, but I'm down here. But in typical Virginia fashion, the weather range today is a nice 49 in the morning up to a high of 80, which is huge range. Either way is too warm right now, so. And now it's cold. But I think that's just my sweat cooling off. It's like the worst part of working out in the winter is when you get out of the gym and head back to the car, and the second you sit down, you're like freezing as the sweat's pressing against your back. So in terms of like dangers of solo hiking, of course you have the risk of like you step in wrong, twisting your ankle, and now you've kind of stranded yourself. But we're talking wildlife, at least in the Shenandoah National Park system, there's not too much, in my experience, that you should be worried about. I mean, of course, there are black bears, and you do need to practice bear safety, but usually making noise, looking bigger than a bear, that'll scare them off. Like if I'm encountering a bear, the first thing I'm doing is I'm gonna try to frame mog it. You know, get nice and big, see if I can spook it off with the width of my lats. I hit a lat spread on the bear and see if that works. But so even though that would probably work 90% of the time, I do carry bear spray, especially if I'm going early morning when wildlife tends to be a bit more active. You know, is it necessary for this park system? Probably not 100%. Is there any reason not to? Not really. I mean, it adds minimal weight, and I do subscribe to the motto of, hey, if I'm intentionally going somewhere where there's an increased risk of running into a black bear, might as well have something to protect myself with. While most black bears in the Shenandoah Park system are modest or shy, you know, it's like the same conversation with pit bulls, you know? It's not all pit bulls, but there's a high proportion of them that attack people. You know, black bears and any animal for that respect is the same, you know? The behavior of this creature could be this temperament, but you always have an exception. And I don't want to be that exception. You know, I don't want to run into a bear that has been kind of conditioned by people feeding it to associate me as food or with food. I don't want to be put in that situation. Or I don't want to encounter that bear in that situation without something to deter it. Honestly, I'm more concerned about snakes. It would really suck to get bit by a rattlesnake or copperhead. and then try to navigate getting out of here and getting anti-venom in a timely manner. Oh wow. I don't believe I know what these are. They look like, they kind of look like ears of corn, which, well, I know they aren't, but it's neat. I'm gonna have to remind myself to look it up while I'm editing this video. I got jump scared by a bee. Scared me a bit. That's only slightly problematic. All right, so I'm starting to hear some water. So I think I'm getting pretty close to that second waterfall. And then that puts me almost like exactly halfway through the whole loop. So it's like another, once I get to that waterfall, another 2.5 to 3 miles and I'll be done. It's been a very, very calm and relaxing morning. All right, well, the water's getting louder and the mosquitoes are getting busier. So it's also getting cooler, which is a welcomed little tidbit. Look at this. I'm telling you, I never ever, I never not trust my balancing skills until I have the camera with me. The second I have the camera with me, it's like I feel like I'm inebriated, under the influence. All right. Oh, mosquitoes are everywhere. I have to reapply some bug spray because I sprayed most of it on my shirt that I took off. If you just look, you can see all the mosquitoes going around. Very, very important to have some bug spray on you. I usually go with some stronger stuff towards my boots, my pant legs, primarily because of ticks, because ticks are bad this year too. And then I'll go more natural stuff on my upper body and areas, you know, my skin exposed areas. Issue with that stuff is it doesn't last as long, but if I were camping, I'd probably just use the stronger stuff and call it a day. But on a short hike, it lasts long enough. There's a slick patch of mud right there, and it really would have sucked if I would have lost my footing right on that slick patch of mud and slipped off the edge of the trail. I mean, I don't think I would have died, but probably would have broken something. All right, so judging from my map and my calculations, the second waterfall is right over here, right down there. But man, this creek is just so pretty. You know, I wonder, and I know people fish up in the Appalachians, because I'll see them park, you know, driving up towards Skyline Park or Skyline Drive, and I'll see them park on the side. And I see fishing poles and whatnot, so I'm sure there are something, but this water looks too shallow for anything. So maybe there's deeper creeks that I'm just not aware of. Oh, look how clear that little pool of water is. Zoom in a little bit. And right down it goes. Got a little bird feather right over here. And there we go. Just look at how pretty all this is. Now, personally, I'm not one for swimming while on the trail because then I'm all soggy on the way back. But I imagine real hot summer day, that'd be real nice to cool off in. All right, so that was a lovely waterfall. Had a bunch of rocks that you could kind of scamper down without, you know, too much trouble. A couple people, and this is the thing that I'm not crazy about, the carving of names into trees or the spray painting, specifically the spray painting, because the carving, you know, healthy tree, minimal to no damage, realistically speaking. The spray paint, I don't know, man. I don't want to introduce some chemicals into the environment. Now, all I have to do is follow this creek back to the Dark Hollow Falls Trail, hike up that steep portion, and I'm done. Kind of a, I don't know, all trails rated as hard. Right now, my perspective is it was pretty easy. Hopefully it kind of stays that way. I could be shooting myself in the foot saying it's easy, and then I got the hardest part in this last like mile. But look at that, found a little millipede on this tree. Again, I'm cool with them. They practically they just have a lot of legs, that's all. Centipedes though, no. N-O. How exciting. There's a bridge. You know I love bridges. I love finding bridges in the middle of trails in the middle of nowhere. Ooh, I almost tripped on a rock. Oh, look how pretty and clear that is. Ooh, ooh. Da-da-da. Nice. Man, gotta kick it into all-wheel drive. Oh shit, that's slippery. All right, that was a little bit of a trek up, but not too bad. It's also possible that as I hike more, I'm getting conditioned for, you know, steeper inclines, which is good because I do plan on doing old rag pretty soon. But it turns out you need a permit these days to do old rag. You didn't need one when I did half of it a few years ago, but I know right now old rag would be a little much. I could do it, but I don't know how much fun I'd have. So I'm gonna work on getting a little bit in better condition, because it is like 10 miles, 2,500 elevation gain. And right now this would be the steepest and longest at about 6 miles and 1,400. Yeah, I could do it, but why not try my luck at a few smaller hikes and build my way up? Oh man, that is pretty. All right, got a little rocky crossing here. There we go. So I ran into a guy that was fly fishing, and I asked him, you know, what fish are around these parts, and you know, he's fishing out there for some brook trout. So I guess that kind of answers my question of, are there fish in this creek? Most of my fishing expertise is pond or lake, so not a lot of river fishing, not a lot of creek fishing, obviously. But you know what? I do have a camping trip planned for next weekend, and it's on a stocked trout creek. So I'm gonna try to do some trout fishing next week. Maybe I'll catch something, I don't know. I don't got a fly rod or anything. I'm gonna have to do what is apparently sacrilegious in the fishing community, and that is try to trout fish with a spinning reel. But hey, that's what I got, man. Looks like this trail is pretty popular for trout fishing. There's that one guy I spoke to earlier, and we got a little hook over here. Hook and some plastic. Normally I would pick it up. I usually pick up trash that I see, but I forgot to bring a plastic bag with me, and well, I don't want to get stabbed by a random hook, so it's just gonna unfortunately be left there. It's actually pretty cool. Ooh. Log puddles, more like it, damn. All right, so I made it back to where I saw that bridge from earlier. And I said I was gonna go this way because it was gonna be nice to follow the creek back. No, that was all uphill. I should have, oh man. I should have taken a right, gone to the bridge, followed the creek down to the second waterfall. Then I would have had that nice and easy trek back up on a, you know, relatively flat surface. No. Nope. I took the more challenging option, which was to go steep uphill at the very end of the hike. And now I've got the steep climb back up Deep Hollow Falls to get back to the car. Yay me. So I'll tell you what, if you ever plan on doing the Dark Hollows Fall into the river, or the Rose River loop all in one go, when you finish the Dark Hollows Falls and you see the bridge, go right. All right, that's gonna take you downhill, and you might have a little bit longer incline, but it's not gonna be as bad as doing the reverse. Tell you what, another thing about this trail, if you plan on coming out, get here early. It's 10:30 as I'm heading back, and it is crowded. So it's one of those popular trails on off of Skyline Drive, so plan ahead. All right, and we are done. All right, going the wrong way ended up adding like 100 meters to my elevation gain, which, truth be told, that sucked. But it only took me about 3 hours, 45 minutes. Look at that. Read them and weep. 6.3 miles, 1,500 elevation gain, 3 hours, 45 minutes. All right, well, there it is. I'm gonna be putting some of the photos I took on my Instagram, and you can go check that out at, or illo_outdoors, to see any of the photos I took. But yeah, if you enjoyed, please leave a like, and I will catch you in the next one. Peace.